In this video, I will show you a simple little menu system that you can make yourself, and it's a great functionality to display the switch statement. So stick around and enjoy the video. Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Toxic Studios, and if you're new here, consider subscribing because I make learning game design and programming easy. Alright, so with that being said, let's get on with the video on how to make a switch statement in C++. So first thing I'm going to do is walk you through this little short program I already have typed out, which is basically a menu, which this chunk right here is just displaying the menu. This is getting the number they enter, like 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is saying if their choice is less than or equal to 0, or, remember that sign is or, choice is greater than or equal to 4, then we're going to clear the screen. That's what system CLS does, in case you didn't know. That clears the screen. We're going to see out, error, please try again. And then what this little thing does right here is this is how you call a function. It'll be more useful later on, but just saying main with 2 parentheses, this basically returns back up to here. So then it'll start the program over. Alright, so if I run this little program, as you can see, menu, play, settings. Now if I just hit actual 1, then it won't do anything. So let's try -4. Error, please try again, as you can see right there. And let's try 6. Error, please try again. But since I don't have anything programmed, which is going to be the switch statement tutorial, then I can simply type in 3 and it doesn't do anything. Alright, with all that out of the way, let's get started with the switch statement tutorial. And to start out with, it's as simple as possible. All you have to do is just type out switch and then hit tab if you have the auto completes on. And then we want to replace this switch on right here. We want to replace this with choice, because this is what we're switching. We're switching between choice options. So let's say choice. And notice how you have a default and a break right here. What default does is, if you remember back to the else if tutorial, I'll leave a link to that down below if you haven't watched it. But if you remember back to then, how you had, after all your else ifs, you had else. That's basically what default is. It will do this by default. If everything else is false, then it will run this. So on the contrary, you may be wondering what break is. This is actually how it breaks out of the switch statement. So when you put a break, it's basically saying once we find what we need, then break out of the statement. So let's add a little bit of functionality to this. So we simply can't just type default again, or then we would have 2 defaults, and even if I did that, we get errors because we cannot have 2 defaults. So what needs to go here? Well, if you look, same thing with our if statement. We would say if choice is 1, but the problem is you can't just say if on this. Instead, switch statements use a thing called cases. So you do case, and then you put what choice will be, so case 1. And then after your choice variable, you then put a colon, just like that. And notice how this goes away, and you don't need a colon or semicolon or any of that right now. But you notice how this works. Alright, so now just like the default, when something happens on this, we want it to break out of this. So put break. So now what you basically want to do, if you pause the video and set up this exact program right here is now you want to enter 2 and 3 the exact same way we did case 1 right here. So I'll get back to you when I get that done. Alright, so I have finished setting up the switch, and as you can see, case 2 and case 3 are done exactly the same way as case 1 is. But if you are still confused about anything, just rewatch the part about case 1, and that should clear things up. So now that we have all of our options we need, 1, 2, 3 in here, now we actually need to do stuff whenever we call the case 1, case 2, case 3. So to do this, we need to hit enter on all of these just to give ourselves a little bit of room. And now I'm going to start off with, since this is a menu, when we traverse the pages, we want to clear the screen before we display the next screen. So to do this, we want to copy system CLS, or again, if you haven't copied all of this down, you can just simply type system CLS in your own program and paste system CLS in all of these, like so. Alright, so now if we run this program, now as you can notice, if we hit 1, it completely clears the screen. So we have a program that just completely clears the screen with a switch statement, but we actually want to display something. So this is where we will use our cout. So case 1 is play. Remember up here it's play. So under case 1 we want to do cout and then say you are playing a game. Just a simple little expression just like that. Not too crazy. And then if we look at case 2 right up here, case 2 is settings. So under CLS, we can say you are in the settings menu. So again, just like play, it's not too crazy because we're not getting into huge programming stuff. And then again, credits, we would say cout this game is made by Toxic Studio. And then put your semicolon. And then this case, or the switch statement, completely works now. It does exactly what it's supposed to. And you could put a default, but for now I'm not going to, but I will show you exactly what it does in just a second. One last thing before we check out what our menu does is, remember how I said system CLS clears the screen? Well, you want to make sure you put CLS before your cout. Because if you put it after, I'm just going to do it on this one right here. Just this choice. Just as an example to show what will happen. Alright, so now if I run this with system CLS and all of this fixed, then you'll notice if I hit 1, it still shows nothing. Because it displays you are playing a game, and then it clears everything along with you are playing a game. So that is why it's important to put CLS up top. Alright, so I'm back at the command prompt. So let's say we enter 2 to go to settings. 2, you are in the settings menu. See, so that works. It displays you are in the settings menu. Because it takes a choice right here, and it determines, oh, is it the number 1, 2, or 3? And it's the number 2, so then it says you are in the settings menu. Alright, so I am once again back in the command prompt. Now let's enter number 3 for credits. Now, same thing as everything else. It works. It says this game is made by Toxic Studios. Alright, so now let's show exactly what the default will do. So for this, if you copied this exact program I have, completely delete this if statement up here. Alright, so now I'm going to show exactly what default does. So if you have copied this entire program up here, copy this midsection and then delete the choice if statement. And then once you delete that, copy that midsection into this midsection. So now basically what that will say is if the choice is different from this, this, or this, then it will do this. So if the number is not 1, 2, or 3, then the default will run. Alright, so inside the command prompt, let's see that in action. So let's say we enter number 5. Error, please try again. Because you notice it's a number different than 1, 2, or 3. So we can try negative 3,240,000,000, like quadrillion, as big of a number you want. And now it does get buggy if you do too big of a number, but you can still kind of see error, please try again. Alright, so that basically wraps up a switch statement tutorial, and hopefully you learned something. If you did, consider subscribing. This is Toxic Studios. I make learning game design easy. If you're interested in that, consider subscribing. Give this video a like, comment your thoughts, and I will see you next time.